Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to my presentation. My name is Luis Barbosa. I just presented the article exploring the reports on frontières platform, the use of the qualitative methodology in the study of alternative journalism in the digital age. As an abstract, consider that alternative journalism is usually associated with political involvement or activism, but it also addresses a series of other themes such as minorities, ethnic groups, culture, and social actions usually managed by non-professionals. However, there is several examples in which journalists work professionally in the political and investigate aspects of this type of journalism, such as Reports on Frontiers organization, as mentioned here. Technology innovation, especially since the expansion of Internet 2.0 and the creation of social networks, has been a real fertile field for expansion of alternative journalism. This is an exploratory study regarding the contents of alternative journalism in the online platforms. We aim to understand the main themes addressed by alternative journalism organizations in the digital arena and, above all, to learn more about the Reports on Frontières digital presence. As an index, please consider the introduction, the theoretical framework, methodology, data collection and analysis techniques, results, and final considerations. In a generic approach, it is accepted that alternative journalism might be as old as classical journalism. Alternative journalism is generally associated with political involvement or activism. However, it can be dedicated to a series of other themes such as minorities, ethnic groups, cultural and social actions promoted by non-professionals. In contrast, there are several cases in which journalists work in a professional way in the political and investigate aspects of this type of journalism. Certainly, social networks created the basis for a greater dissemination of alternative journalism. It is important to consider that, however, in this paper, in addition to conducting a study of the main themes addressed by alternative journalism, we aim to understand the work developed nowadays by an organization founded several decades ago. This is based on its presence on the digital world and also by our research in the main published themes as a reference. In our opinion, our study contributes to a better understanding of main themes addressed by alternative journalists based on real data. The digital visibility of the work of journalists sans frontières is evident and is clear when we make our research. As a theoretical framework, please consider definitely journalism has several legitimate aspects that contribute in different ways to the functioning of democracy. James Curran writes in the preface of this alternative media handbook. Initially, alternative media were not accessible to the general public. However, with the technological development, information capacity, storage, and data transmission, there has been a large number of content creators and followers since new technology allows small communities to expose their problems, concepts, their opinions, and making themselves known far beyond their geographical and cultural boundaries. The use of platforms in the field of alternative journalism constitutes, similar to collaborative journalism, a modality and integration of potentially disruptive or innovative technology based on the 3Ts model. This 3T model is based definitely on transfer, transform, and transcend. As a methodology, it's far to understand as a qualitative methodology is understood as a means to explore and understand the meaning that individual groups attribute to a social and human problem. So, based on the coordinates of the quoted authors, we understood that the qualitative methodology was the most appropriate, especially due to the exploratory nature of this research. The data collection analysis techniques, not spending too much time on this item, the purpose of data analysis is to organize, provide structure, and extract meaning from the content. So, inferences are made about what may affect the type of interpretation based on establishing a relationship between the obtained data. So we began by collecting the names of organizations with greater visibility internet in Portuguese. Then we kept in mind that coding is one of the most difficult processes in content analysis, since a large part is closely linked to the richness of the discourse. And the second step was the data collection, organization, and coding about the reports on frontier platform and the new contents. Data was retrieved from corpus latente, then a content analysis in the collected data was carried out, considering that without the use of content analysis software, this was definitely direct collection. As the result, the internet search allowed to identify Portuguese and international online publications referred to as an alternative journalism. So the following table as presented, table 1, presents a list of organizations that were identified based on their greater visibility, and table 1 identifies 10 national and 16 international alternative new organizations. The data shows that in Portugal, 8 out of the 10 selected organizations focus on political issues. The other 2 are related to arts and culture. At international level, all 16 listed organizations' work is related to politics. Of these, 3 of them organizations associate politics with investigative journalism, and 1 focus on politics and economics. Consider that another one also on politics and society. As a result, we should definitely consider that regarding the RSF platform, the Report on Frontières platform, as well as learning about the themes of the published news, we intended to observe the transition and visibility of this entity, which has been in existence for several decades within the digital world. RSF is an independent organization based in Paris with daily and multilingual publications in French, in English, in Spanish, in Arabic, and Persian. Also often in considered in other languages such as Chinese, Portuguese, Russian, and others. The organization also publishes reports and press releases on the situation of freedom of information in the world and the attacks directed against it. RSF's communication campaigns go around the world, not only as a result of digital visibility, but because the organization itself is present in 130 countries through a vast network of correspondents. Interventions in the international press raise awareness among the general public and influence political leaders on particular cases of cross-cutting issues. RSF works to defend freedom of speech and to protect the freedom and lives of reporters in challenging scenarios, such as war zones that we are living today. Is hard to understand in this case. RSF works to defend freedom of speech and to protect the freedom and lives of reporters in challenging scenarios, such as war zones. As a result, still, by comparing the headlines in the different languages, we infer that, on one hand, RSF journalists are not limited to translating the contents, as there are specific news for audiences in the respective languages. And on the other hand, the analysis of the content of the themes published between January and April in different languages allows to interfere great amplitude in terms of the scope of the communication and corroborate the political aspect of the themes deal with. As final considerations, please consider that this study allowed us to verify that alternative journalism is very active and has a large presence in the so-called digital world, achieving through this presence a global reach among its audiences. So it uses digital definitely as a vehicle of their own message. The existence of several organizations dedicated to alternative journalism puts together normal people as a set of voices with an equal right to be heard, and also with the elite groups. Having this right to be heard and having access to spaces where they cannot establish dialogue with others is seen as crucial for people to be active citizens, among other factors. Nevertheless, still within final considerations, through the selected example of RSF platform, we could demonstrate that alternative journalism is not only developed by individuals, but also carried out by a large number of professionals who promote the transmission of their concerns and views to a wider audience. And the use of new technologies allows them to create greater visibility and impact. In this sense, we are able to demonstrate that there are large organizations dedicated to alternative journalism, including supported by a large number of donors, and interestingly, in the case of RSF, by public funding that is happening at the moment. The work of these organizations, in particular that on the reports on Sans Frontières, is internationally recognized through several awards and includes a representation at the United Nations, allowing the inference of the high degree of professionalism on the power of influence conquered over time by RSF, whose visibility is considered greater in the digital age. That's all in this work and presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me, and gracias por su atención. I hope that is clear. Any questions, please be so kind to let me know. Thank you so much. See you next time.